You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since first grade, now dads reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Wagner.
And I'm Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, the Ducks fly again as we review Mighty Ducks Game Changers. But first, JB, how are you and the family doing?
Doing good. As always, we keep talking about all the new stages we get to with our kids. And my daughter, who will be turning 2 here in the not too distant future, she has entered a new stage of her eating, which is the bartering stage. We have officially entered that stage where she says, no, I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat what's in front of me. And then we do the whole, well, here's a piece of bread. And her eyes get really big. And she's like, these? And we go, you have to eat your chicken first or your vegetable or whatever. And she goes, and then she immediately eats it and then goes, me. And then we give her that one. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. She eats it. And then she's like, more. And we're like, you got to eat the next thing. And it goes
she loves bread. Bread's her thing.
Bread, ketchup, just like straight ketchup. We have to get her to actually put chicken in the ketchup, not just lick the ketchup off of the chicken. That's a whole another piece of it. Let's be honest. She's onto something there. Like ketchup is delicious. Chicken is just the vehicle. That's how I feel about salad. Salad is just the vehicle to get the dressing.
Right. I mean, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree because I know you are quite particular in how you put your ketchup out on a wide surface so that you can get the greatest amount of coverage of ketchup per fry.
So
I just remember in high school sitting at Wendy's, you giving a rather long explanation of like, because, Wendy's, you used to like pump into these little tiny little cups.
Like microscopic cups.
And 99.9% of us are just like, okay, this is what you want me to do. Boom, I'll do it.
You could barely get just a little bit of it.
Not JB. He's got to lay out several napkins to give it some thickness, some absorption, right?
Absorption, yes.
And then you would dump several of those ketchup things out so
then you could literally
wider,
almost wipe your fry all the way down the ketchup.
Yes. The normal person just dips and no. You would have maybe 25% coverage of ketchup.
That's generous. We're talking like 15% max.
Okay.
In those cups.
JB is unhappy unless he gets at least upwards of 75 to 80% fry coverage of ketchup.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, but Eddie, I did graduate myself to another. I went back to the cups, but what you don't know about some of these cups is that you can kind of stretch them apart, not like completely break them, but they've got all that weird like
it's like corrugated,
accordion kind of corrugated stuff. You just pull the cord and it makes it about 2 or 3 times as probably like 3 or 4 times as big of square footage to put your ketchup in. So it's more like a bowl than a little tiny cup. So I am a little bit slightly more sophisticated than I used to be.
But what's reassuring about this? No matter how old we grow or kids we have or move on in life, deep down inside, we're still the same ketchup lover that you truly are.
Yep.
That's reassuring.
And it's passed on to my child. To my daughter.
Yay. My son is a picky eater like me and will play the games of chewing but not swallowing. Ooh. Which is so disgusting. But yes.
But we don't want to disgust you out, our listeners. We are going to make a hard right turn into today's episode. But before even we get into that, we are going to talk about a little bit of Disney news, as we like to do.
Disney Plus announced what I think everybody wanted when they finished the Imagineering story when Disney Plus first came out, right? That was the series I was the most excited about. Loved it. And as soon as it was over, I wanted more. I wanted more behind the scenes Disney park material. And none of this like fairy tale wedding stuff is going to be enough. None of this is how we decorate the parks is enough. Cutesy little specials that they put on there. No, I want something robust like the Imagineering story. And they announced this week the Behind the Attraction series is coming out, produced by Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm so excited. I hope he's on camera somewhere in here.
Yeah. Now, this is such a smart move for them. We're big fans of the magic behind the Animal Kingdom series on Disney Plus. And so kind of another iteration of that where they are diving deeper into the parks and going behind the scenes on that. And they're doing, I think it's 10 episodes, and they're all going to drop on the same day. They're not going to release
They're going to
them.
binge this.
Yep, they're going to binge this one.
Eddie, that's going to be...
Which makes me think they haven't released an official runtime of each episode, but it makes me wonder if it's going to be kind of like the Inside Pixar episodes where they're only like 6 to 8 minutes long each. So that's what I'm a little nervous about. I haven't heard anything official, but I wonder, okay, they released all the Inside Pixars at once, and those were 6 to 8. Maybe this is going to be similar. So
if we just look at the artwork to get an idea of what they're actually going to talk about.
Oh, I saw an article.
So it looks like it's going to be It's a Small World.
Yes.
I'm just going kind of around. Haunted Mansion, the Star Tours, Jungle Cruise, maybe the monorail. There might be something to do with the monorail itself. The train that goes all the way around Disney, and then it's just I'm trying to tell from this image on the left side with the rocket. Is that going to be Space Mountain? Is that Space Mountain? That is on the left side with the rocket.
Yeah, that's Space Mountain with the original TWA Starliner.
So just from here,
here's the list. I found it. It's going to be Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, Star Tours, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, The Castles. That's just going to be one episode.
Ooh.
The Disneyland Hotel.
Interesting.
Space Mountain. It's a Small World. And then one episode will be Trains, Trams, and Monorails. And then the last one will be Hall of Presidents.
Okay, so they have everything but Hall of Presidents in the Disneyland Hotel on this very artwork.
Right.
On this thing. No, I think we're all super excited.
Poster.
We as a family, I got my wife several years ago, I got her a book that's all about the history of Haunted Mansion.
Her favorite ride?
Her favorite ride. One of the very reasons we are going to go back to Disneyland. And so we love those kind of making the behind the scenes stuff. So the fact that there's going to be a whole series based off this, everyone I've talked to about it, when I said, "Hey, have you seen this?" Everyone was like, "Yeah,"
super excited.
So,
and yeah, I just hope it's full. I hope it's robust. I would even be happy with, I don't know, like 30-minute long episodes. It doesn't need to be like the full 45 hour. I would be fine with like that 25 to 30 minute. I just don't want like a 6 to 8 minute thing where it's just like, no,
there's too much history.
There's not enough time. There's too much
going on. Like there's too many things that we want to know about these parks.
Yeah.
These attractions.
Speaking of Disney Plus, our break from all things Marvel is coming to an end this week.
Break from all things Marvel? You mean the month we had off?
The break is coming to an end. Yeah. Well, I mean, when did Falcon and the Winter Soldier end? Was that?
We could go back and look at our episode numbers. And that would tell us when, because we did a whole synopsis of it.
But yeah, that was probably four weeks ago.
Yes, so we have Loki that it's going to be dropping tomorrow because Wednesday is the new Friday. So it's tomorrow. So it's going to be the day that you are listening to this. There is going to be
really?
new. Yep.
Why is Wednesday the new Friday for Disney Plus?
They just decided to mix it up a little bit. I mean, they can't drop everything on Fridays. So
well, I wonder because they've got movies now coming out on Fridays. So maybe they don't want to compete. They want you staying home.
They want you to get into the theater, get out, and go see it. That's good. That's a good idea.
We're going to the theater this Friday. This Friday is our 5th wedding anniversary.
And congratulations, Eddie. I was there.
Thank you. Yes, you were. I know because pictures are coming up this week of our escapades during that week. We're going to go see In the Heights, though.
Ooh. I think I have that done on my list of movies I want to go see.
I'm a big musical fan, and that just looks really good. So, but anywho,
that is not why you're here to listen to it. You are here. Oh, hold up. Are you stopping me for a second? No,
I was saying, we're doing something different. We make our own rules here on this podcast, even though that we have said we are marching from 1988 until 2005, our childhood. We've been in 1995 forever.
And it'll be forever and a week.
Yes. Because we're taking a special break to review a Disney Plus series that we both have surprisingly, I think, enjoyed. So
yes, we'll go into that deeper in a second. But what we were talking about today is Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
Cue the Disney sound effect.
Okay, so IMDb description for the Game Changers of Mighty Ducks. I have to say that in a weird way. Okay. After failing to make the cut to join the now powerhouse Mighty Ducks junior high hockey team, 12-year-old Evan's mother encourages him to form a new team of underdogs with help from Gordon Bombay, the Ducks' original coach. That was somehow all one sentence. Just comma after comma after comma. Just new.
When does it, is that qualify as a run-on sentence?
Yeah, I think it did. But anyways, that basically gives you a little bit of it gives you the setup, but that's about it. That gives you like episode 1.
Yeah.
Or 2.
So let's just start with, what did you think when they first announced we're making a Mighty Ducks TV show for Disney Plus?
I mean, I was super interested in like, oh, they're gonna bring the Mighty Ducks back. What are they gonna do with this? Then when I saw the trailer drop, I was like, I don't know that I'm into this. I don't know and also the kids are not a big part of the trailers at first. I'd have to go back and watch again to see. I haven't seen them since like literally months before it came out, and I was just like, I'm not into this. I'm not happy about this.
I remember we talked about that. I think in one of our episodes, we just reviewed like in the news segment everything that was possibly coming out on Disney Plus, and we had both mentioned we were excited to see what they do with this. And then that trailer just it came across really flat and one dimensional.
Took the air out of my wings.
Yeah, and then you just kind of had this weird, awkward moment with Emilio Estevez. That was just like
it was a lot of Lauren Graham. That's what I remember. A lot of Lauren Graham.
And I'm like, so I have to say, and I think you watched it first, if I remember correctly. Because I was just like, I don't know. I just don't want to invest in this. I don't want to, get hurt emotionally. And you texted me something like, stop what you're doing and go watch Mighty Ducks Game Changers right now. It's like,
think somewhere in
Okay.
there I put, it's so flipping endearing.
Yes.
I didn't want to like it, but doggone it. They did it. They did it to me.
So let's start
Maxwell
there.
freaking Simpkins.
Maxwell Simpkins?
He is the actor.
Oh,
that plays
the
Nick Gaines.
that plays Nick.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what it. But sorry, you begin us off on this.
No, let's just start with how they structure this, okay? The whole concept where they kind of flip it on end of the Ducks are now the Hawks, right?
Yes.
To think about it in the old terms, and that they just play out so well, kind of modern parenting, right? And just all of the pressure.
Modern sports parents.
Yes. And I think that was the immediate moment where Lauren Graham's character, is sitting in the stands with all the other parents and all of the absurd things are being said out loud. And to watch her reaction, and they almost embrace her reactions, that was the moment where it kind of clicked for me and went, oh, I see what they're going to do here. I see why this is going to be a really fun show. And it didn't disappoint, right? That was just kind of the moment for me.
Yeah, when I found out that the villain basically were too into their kids' sports parents, and that whole AAU league sports, and I was like, that hooked me in immediately, and I was very interested to see what they were going to do with it, turning the Mighty Ducks into the villains to start this off with. Kind of that kind of got me through, especially the first beginning little bit of it, as well as the secret star of the show, which is Nick Gaines, played by Maxwell Simpkins. I talked about that before. He was just so flippin', just endearing and heartfelt, and I was just like, I want all the best things for this kid. I want him to later on when he has that whole thing trying to get with the girl that he liked, but the girl liked Evan, it kind of just tugged at your heart so much. You just wanted the good things for this kid. I mean, let's be honest. Like, this was a very Disney. This is a kind of a Disney Channel show to some degree. Like, when you think about just the story of it and the message, the message throughout, it just kind of like. This could have easily, if there even wasn't a Disney Plus, this could have been a show on the Disney Channel. They probably would have done things a little bit differently, but it's like the Disney Channel made now for Disney Plus era.
Yeah, the original development, as I read it online, was by ABC Studios.
Makes sense.
With the intention of putting it on one of the TV formats of either Freeform, Disney Channel, or on ABC itself. And I think it got pulled into Disney Plus rather quickly because they needed content for it. So
yeah, exactly.
This was a good, I think some of the other kid series that has been released on Disney Plus, like I've watched it and it's just really silly. Like I haven't
Florence and the chipmunk or whatever.
That one, the movie where it's the Florence and Ulysses.
Is that a series or is it a movie?
That's a movie. We actually really liked that one a little bit. No, I was thinking of things like The Diary of a Future President or whatever that one was. Didn't even make it through the first episode. There's like the Big Fib game show thing. We didn't even make it through the first episode. It was just kind of like, eh. This one though, I think they set up a premise really well, right? And the characters are so endearing. Like I just fell in love with all the kids. Yes. And I think that's what they got right, that was the secret magic of the original one, is that you just had this misfit group of odd kids, each one just kind of having their little thing that made you love them. And they carried that over to this series and gave us a group of kids that are from kind of every little niche and cliche that you just fall in love with, you're endeared to. And I think you're right. The one that just kind of clicks right away is Nick, right? Played by Maxwell Simpkins. The moment he is, and maybe it's because we're, two nerds who've tried podcasting so many different times. The podcast, the wraparound podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So funny. And then even those first several episodes where he's like the first half of the series, really, he's still podcasting even while he's still playing and doing those types of things. It was just so endearing.
Yes, they definitely took that. It was interesting how every single episode they kind of delved into each one of the individual characters and gave them. So you have the sleepover where you really get to meet Coob a lot better. You have
Coop. Let's talk about him. Okay,
was not expecting the turn in that episode when he starts singing Les Mis.
I mean, when they first go meet him in the basement and he's like blocking the socks and everything, like that was cute. That was kind of funny, right? And everything. But that moment, he just forever changes. And then he has so many of the great little, not wanting to change his socks during the run up to States. And then even the final episode, the final game, him singing like this most beautiful rendition of the national anthem before the game starts. That's just, it was just brilliant. It was just a fun little way to do that.
We've also got the Flapjacks episode where what's his name? He can't skate at all, which was a great moment when they recruit this kid that he looks the part. I think we had talked about that before. And then he gets on the ice and he can't skate.
Can't even skate.
And then they bring him along. I thought that was awesome. Even Lauren Graham gets a whole episode where it's just kind of delving into her psyche as she's like, as she's going too far down the rabbit hole, into being, trying to win the game. It's like the third to last episode or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking through, just in amazement of how they gave every character an arc appropriate to their screen time. Because it even stood out to me in the final episode. I don't know if you caught this. The girl who took over the podcast, right, from Nick when he joins the team. At the first episode, you have her dad join her, and he's just like, why am I even here? He's not really saying anything. And then by the very final episode, there's the two of them at the game, and he's equally engaged in podcasting as his daughter is. And I just like, that's just good writing, that you give a little arc to everybody. Everybody is progressing and changing and moving on. Well, you get this random background.
Well, you gained a fake arc from Coach T, who kind of starts to look like he's going to open up, but really he was really just trying to get information to try to get a leg up on the situation.
Coach T. All right. This guy, I wish I would have gone and written all of his one-liners through the whole show, because he just had so many that I can't even remember half of them now.
The first one was, isn't we're just here to have fun? He's like, yeah, I'm getting rid of that. Like, I'm not gonna use that anymore. No, so so even talking about Coach T, it sounds like you liked him. He was probably the worst actor of anybody that was on this show, I would say. I felt like I
agree with you. I couldn't decide, is he a bad actor or is this bad. Just how he's playing this?
I think he's just a bad actor, because I think they just said, hey, we need somebody who can skate, can say the words we want them to do, and kind of look like a douche and have slick back hair.
Yeah.
And he won it.
The scene where he is trying to like recruit Evan back to the Ducks, that whole moment, that was just cringeworthy of this. That was kind of where I'm going, okay, is he a bad actor, or is this trying to do this?
Very good. No.
I think he's just a bad,
From day one, I was like, he was the weakest of the character. I was still mad when he turned on them in the end. and when he played like trying to recruit Evan and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was like, this guy is not very good. He is definitely the weakest of the links on this chain. I love
Kelly, the lawyer super mom cheek, right? Is her name Kelly?
Yeah, because she never fully goes like angry or aggressive. Like she's always super passive aggressive in everything she's doing. I was waiting for her to go after Lauren Graham's character at some point, but she held it together the entire time, but then also kind of has her moment in the second to last or the last episode or whatever.
Yeah, well, you have the whole thing where she kind of bonds with, Alex or Lauren Graham's character, and then just very at the end there where she gives the Don't Bothers the moniker. Like again, every character just kind of has its little arc moment.
Yeah. So this was the thing that was kind of that made me sad about the series, because when you open it up, first episode, second episode, they are so bad. They are so bad at actually playing hockey. Like they are incompetent. They can't skate to save their lives. They get destroyed. It's just all bad. Every second of them playing. And I kind of liked it when they were bad. It kept up with that endearing level. I think the better they got and the more wins they got and stuff like that, it started to lose a little bit of that magic for me, because maybe it's because watching them, like there is the whole time, I think this would have been different if they would have beaten all the bad teams and they were just kind of this ragtag group, but then they go play the Ducks again, who are a powerhouse like team. They shouldn't have ever, I don't think that they should have ever surpassed the Ducks in the sense of their ability to make it this like a somewhat I know it's Disney and it's crazy and it's whatever.
It is fast. It is fast. I will give you that.
It's such a fast climb.
Yeah. It does make for a nice series, season, because they'll definitely do another season of this.
But what is the sequel to this now that they've kind of completed, they've come full circle. They are now have taken the Ducks name. Like what is the next thing?
They'll go be a part of the Junior Olympics.
Don't follow the same stereotypes. the same narrative.
Well, remember you had it in the final episode as well when they're sitting in the empty Minnesota igloo. And she's like, "What are you thinking about?" And he's like, "The Winter Olympics." They're gonna need a Zamboni driver.
Oh, that's right. He was gonna go.
Like, you're foreshadowing something's gonna happen here.
So I think that made me sad. Like, they didn't need to beat the Ducks. Like and I guess technically they didn't. Because they had to forfeit the last game of the season. That was
an interesting, right? Yeah. That final episode of having to forfeit.
And them coming to the aid of their teammate. Like I enjoyed that.
I thought that was cool.
They didn't need to actually go beat them. That felt so unrealistic. Like so.
Yes, but I also like that they end the series with the name going back to Bombay.
They could have done some other things. They could have done a shootout or done something that was like. It felt so far from me because the other team was so good, especially up at the front, that there's no way that over a season, as short of a season as they had, they would.
Yeah, but that's just kind of the spirit of movies or shows like this, right? Like that if you just have enough passion, if you just have enough desire and teamwork,
I feel like it's leading so many kids astray. No, you're not going to be in one season better than the best team if you sucked.
And I think that was one of my favorite lines of Nick in the final episode when he was like, when I first joined the Don't Bothers, I didn't even, I'd never skated before or something like that. And now I'm average. It's like, yes, I love this.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like they didn't need to have them actually win. No, it wasn't like I was mad about the entire ending because there was the kind of cool, okay, they had to forfeit to help their teammate and this is the showing the sportsmanship or whatever. I'm still like they didn't need to actually beat them in a real like full game.
Yeah, I would agree with you that it was a bit of a stretch, but at the same time, I bought it. I went along. Like, it didn't bother me. I was just, okay, yep, this makes sense. I don't know. Favorite episodes? Do you have, besides the obvious one?
Yeah, I mean, the sleepover definitely sticks out to me as one of the big episodes. Something that I just kind of think about is like some of my favorites. That kind of, I'd probably say it's that one. You meet the moms. You meet the you have Coop kind of coming out. I mean, that it was a
that early
episode.
on? Was that was like the third episode, I think. I thought Hockey Moms was a good one. I felt like that was a kind of a fun moment of seeing Alex shine a little bit. Honestly, the latter half, that's kind of where the series waned for me a little bit. I felt like the pond hockey was a little weird. Even the episode where Alex kind of everything goes to her head a little bit. That just seemed a little weird and forced to me. But I think overall, I enjoyed the nostalgia of the Spirit of the Ducks episode.
Yes,
when they brought back, they brought back.
We were waiting for
it. Yeah, you knew that they had to pull on the nostalgia.
Did you
cord.
like the ode to the one major duck that didn't make it into that episode? Charlie didn't come because he.
This is why Charlie never wants to come around again. Yeah,
like no, it's because he's the only actor that's still doing big movies. Yourself. Although what's his name did Daredevil and some other things. The other thing, the other thing that I'm not to harp on the bad stuff about the series. The other one that I did not care for was how they built up this whole thing of like, I know what I gotta do, guys. I gotta fire my mom, and then it's literally 1 minute into the next episode, and she's like, "You're right, son. You did need to fire me. That's a good call. Okay, bye." Just like. That's it. That was the lead up. No like tension, no drama between the two of you. You're just like sitting and hanging out with your boss the rest of the time, and then you come to help save the day at the end. Like that was all that. Yeah, I think that was the head games maybe.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely not a great sequence of events, I would say.
Emilio Estevez. We haven't talked about him yet. The true kind of throwback nostalgia guy of this whole thing.
The cranky old man.
He has I don't know. I there's that moments where it's cheesy. There's definitely moments at the beginning where I am wondering, is he learning how to act again? Like this is really odd. But overall, I do like the journey of his character. I do enjoy I enjoyed him a lot. And I feel it's like, especially by the end, okay, he remembers how to act again. Like
he played it restrained. Yes. He played it restrained the majority of the time. You could tell at moments you would have expected another actor to like go farther. And he kind of played it like some of the stuff that with when he's with Evan's dad and stuff like that, you almost expect them to go a little bit too far, but he kind of like didn't quite go the full distance on some of the stuff he could have before. I liked him.
Do you want to know a little interesting tidbit? I read that he started this show the same age his dad started The West Wing.
No.
Yeah.
No, he can't be that old.
Yeah.
Like, that's impossible. I refuse to believe that.
Well, you think West Wing started 21 years ago?
That's crazy.
Like 98?
He doesn't, like, if you threw him into the same room as Jeb Bartlett, you would think they were many years different.
Well, you got to go back and watch the very first episode, like the pilot episode, because that would have happened when he was much younger. I think he's either the same age or is like he's only a year younger than when his dad started that. A lot of people don't know that. Emilio Estevez. His dad is Martin Sheen.
Maybe I'm seeing it. Maybe you are winning me over because it's very, very brown hair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to start watching The West Wing tonight as I edit.
So good.
It's so good.
So, you're the professional. So let me ask you something that has bugged me the whole series.
Okay.
What is up with the soft edges? Did you pick up on? Why did they do soft edges on the whole on so many of the shots? It's all the perimeter. I don't know how.
It's
who else is doing this?
Nobody's doing this, but it's made to feel.
Did you see this?
Feel sentimental. It's supposed to make you feel warm and fuzzy.
But it's like so much of this show has that.
It is.
So it was really there, because I'm not gonna lie. There was several moments where I'm like, Am my glasses? I'm like taking my glasses off and cleaning them and looking at it.
It's a creative decision. It's probably most likely a special lens they use that kind of like softens things quite a bit. They've got filters that they can use for it. A lot of skincare commercials use it. But now
did it annoy you?
No, I mean I see that stuff and then I kind of just keep on going with my life. But no, that is funny. No, and this is great. Normally I'm the one with this very specific question about something and want to know. So I'm glad that the tables have turned and you are providing us with some very specific thing that annoyed you.
Every time it happened, it just seemed odd to me. And I think the moment I couldn't stand it anymore was the whole episode where they're playing on the pond, right? Pond hockey. Because it was like, one, this is obvious you built some plexiglass skating rink in the middle of a set. Like, this could not be more fake.
Yep.
Then you do that soft edge on the whole thing.
Stop it.
And it makes it look worse. Yes, I'm just like, no, don't do this. Like, You've already shocked me. This is better than I thought it was going to be. Don't do stupid stuff like this.
And we should say we haven't. We've kind of had. We are not. We are saying that we like this series, but it has a ton of cheeseball stuff in it.
Oh yes,
tons of cheeseball. It is not devoid of the cheeseballness that you would expect from something like this. We're just saying that it was still endearing while being cheesy.
Nowhere near the level of like your Mandalorian WandaVision, right? Where it's just
this is not epic. In the same conversation, even though it is on the same podcast channel.
The
same podcast.
I'm trying to think like they could have released this on Freeform and it would have been like, oh, that's sweet of them. You know, I don't think I would have watched it if it was on Freeform because I don't have Freeform.
Yeah, we don't.
You know, things like that. Like, who even watches TV?
We've only watched this because, and probably the reason we're giving it its own episode 2 is because we just covered the Mighty Ducks. We've been talking about it quite a bit. I think that's what really
and
warranted
it was better than we were expecting it to be.
So we were giving it more than it deserved because it gave us more than we deserved.
Right. And you and I have talked about this, right? Like our expectations leading into something dictate so much of how you react to something.
I've made too many mistakes in my life hyping something.
Yeah.
And then somebody being like, "Oh, that was not at all what I was expecting it to be." And so I try to play it cool. I know that we have a whole podcast where we spent half the time talking about Cruella last week, but then I spent all of this week just going, "Hey, have you guys seen Cruella? No? You haven't? I would really highly suggest you go watch that. Like, I don't know. I'm like, no, please go see it so I can talk with you about it.
I was trying to remember, there was some movie in college that you and I were both so excited about. And then when we went and saw it, it was just like such a disappointment. And I can't remember what it was.
Talking about Lady in the Water, or I know that
might have been it.
I know there was the I don't know if it was the first time or second time. We literally, the movie ended, and then Derek Anger yelled, "That movie sucked." And I didn't think it sucked when I saw that time. Oh, well, The Happening.
The Happening is definitely in that category.
You talk about a movie.
That's awful.
So it was interesting the first time I saw it, but that thing is one of the steepest drop-offs over multiple viewings. Steep downhill curve.
That movie's awful. So this definitely, I think, rose to a higher level just because we were already starting so low. But I would say, like, we watched it, most of it, except for towards the end, just because we got behind in it, and I had to kind of get caught up for tonight. We watched it together as a family. Like, Lewis really loved it. He calls it the hockey show. He's like, we watched the hockey show. We watched the hockey show. So I mean, it's enjoyable. It's funny. It's got, several
It's got so much heart.
It does. It has a lot of heart, and I enjoy things like that. But I was not running to watch it every Friday when it came out.
This
all
was
the
one
other
you forgot.
series.
You forgot there's new episodes out.
Yeah, and even where it was like, we have nothing else to watch. Should we watch an episode of this, or should we watch, a show we've watched a couple dozen times? We go and we watch another episode of something we've already seen a dozen times.
So you ready to rate this? Season 1?
So let's just kind of give ourselves a spectrum here. Are we saying like 5 is Mandalorian?
Yes.
Okay. Did we ever do a standalone episode on The Mandalorian?
I think we did, but maybe we didn't.
I'm not sure if we did.
I think WandaVision was the first non-movie that we really gave its own.
Because that's another one where I think we were like, what's this WandaVision thing? It looks weird. And then we were like, oh. Yeah.
Then we did Falcon and the Winter Soldier and others. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I think I'm going to give it a solid 3.
That's exactly what I was going to give it. I'm mad that you actually said that first. That's the drama I'm trying to build. I'm mad you said it first because I thought I was so clever in giving it a 3. It's right down the middle of the way.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle. It's better than you think it's going to be, but it's not going to be. It's not go-to watch. It's not must watch.
Right. Yeah.
I think if anybody had hyped it, I wouldn't like it.
Right.
Like if someone been like, this is amazing. It's incredible what they did. I would have been like,
well, what was really funny, we were at somebody's house and we had turned on, like there was a whole group of people over and we had turned on, you want to talk about hype? We turned on Bluey from Disney Plus. Have you watched Bluey yet? This is where it's at, folks. All right. If you've got kids 4 or under, Bluey is where it's at. So we turned on some Bluey and somebody said, what's that Mighty Ducks thing? And I went, oh, it's Mighty Ducks Game Changer. It's the TV show that's kind of like a reboot or whatever. And they're like, oh, is it really good? Like, would you recommend watch it? And I went, yeah.
You hate to hear it.
Did I just say that out loud that I've watched most of this? So I was giving this such a mixed review and the person I was telling it to, they were like, so should I go watch it?
Because you're telling me no.
And I came back to, did you really love the Mighty Ducks when you were a kid? and they said, I watched it a couple times. It wasn't like
Then
one
no.
of my favorite movies. And I said, no, then I probably wouldn't watch it.
That's why my wife wasn't into this at all.
Because she didn't grow up
Because
watching Mighty Ducks.
she didn't really care for the Mighty Ducks. So
Yeah. So even I think that's where 3 is just a solid number,
Right
straight down the middle. Yeah.
Well, that's it for this week of Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Next week, we are going to go back to our
walkthrough.
Charging through. I'm sure at that point we will have a little bit of a tease from First Impressions, maybe a Loki potentially. Who knows? We'll see. But next week we're gonna continue the march with a little more JTT action with Tom and Huck, and let you take you back through 1996 and what all the catastrophes and plagues and all of the bad things that happened in 1996 to refresh your memory. I already know this is an election year, so that will also play into it as well. But yep. So
and Olympics too, if I remember correctly.
in America, in Atlanta Olympics. And yeah. So thanks for listening.